been a bumpy evening for parts of central and eastern Kentucky. The high wind threat is winding down. We'll track what is left just ahead.
A jury found him guilty of killing his friend and stuffing his body in a barrel. And tonight, the same jury announced how long they think a man should spend in prison for the crime. The latest on a heartbreaking story out of Florida. Crews say they have found the body of a 2-year-old boy who was attacked by an alligator near a Disney resort.
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening. It's been a stormy night across the Bluegrass. The storms that moved through earlier left many people without electricity. More on that in just a couple of minutes. But we begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, who shows us what's on the Defender radar network. Yeah, Sam, things really calming down now across central and eastern Kentucky. That little weakening band of thunderstorms into central Kentucky put out one big blast of wind that had gusts around 45 miles an hour, just enough to take down a few power lines. What is left of that into southeastern Kentucky, and it is a wimpy version of its former self. Into central Kentucky, a little bit of light rain shower action, but looking to the northwest, this is where the air is coming from tonight and tomorrow, and that's a whole lot of nothing that is out there. But it is hazy, it is hot, it is humid across the Mississippi Valley. And you know where that air is aimed for the day tomorrow? It is aimed right on in to the Bluegrass state. So temperatures tomorrow really take off as we go into the afternoon. Muggy low 70s to begin the day. Watch out for a touch of some fog if you had some rain outside your house today. Low 90s coming up tomorrow afternoon. With that increase in humidity, it may feel even warmer than that. Now coming up, we've got a new hour-by-hour forecast in. We'll share that with you at 11:13. And Sam, that has a big temperature swing that is on the way as we inch closer to the weekend. Thank you, Chris. And when a strong storm moved through Lexington about 9 tonight, it knocked out power to thousands of people. Most of them are on the east side of the city in the Winchester Road corridor. Garrett Weimer joins us live tonight to continue our First Alert Weather Team coverage. Garrett.
Well, the traffic lights at least are working out here now, but police were out here for more than an hour directing traffic, trying to make sure folks got through these intersections safely. That outage knocked out power to homes, businesses, and traffic lights here in the area. Now, a spokesperson for Kentucky Utilities tells us the storm took down a transmission line between here and Winchester, and that knocked out power from the Hamburg area down Winchester Road all the way to the Clark County line. Police were out here directing traffic at darkened intersections, and businesses likewise left in the dark. Well, they didn't really have much to do and still aren't. KU told us the plan was to try to shift the electrical loads to other sources to get power back on as quickly as possible. We're told another power outage in the Lansdowne area is also storm related. Now, KU's outage map online shows power has mostly been restored there, and what's left of the outages mostly remains in this area of town. At one point, though, 5,700 customers across Lexington were without power. Hopefully that number should continue to drop, though, in the next little bit. Live in Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Garrett, thank you. And remember, we can help you track storms with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free through the app or Google Play stores. It took a little more than 3 hours today for a Fayette County jury to find a man guilty of murder in the death of his friend. Lexington police say Mark Taylor killed Alex Johnson in 2013 and stuffed his body in a barrel. Tonight, the jury deliberated again to determine Taylor's sentence. Monique Blair has the latest now from the Fayette County Courthouse.
The jury deliberated for about 3 hours before coming back into the courtroom with a recommended sentence for Mark Taylor. The jury recommends Taylor serve 22 years for murder, 22 years for kidnapping, and 5 years for tampering with physical evidence. But before the jury reached that sentence, they heard once again from both the prosecution and from the defense.
The jury find the defendant guilty of intentional murder under instruction number 3.
Shortly after 4 o'clock today, a Fayette County jury found Mark Taylor guilty of murder, kidnapping, and tampering with physical evidence. Taylor didn't have much of a reaction to that verdict. Following the verdict reading, there was a sentencing phase. During that time, Alex Johnson's mother took the stand to talk about the struggle she's had since her son was murdered.
Thoughts of suicide crossed my mind. You know, I wanted to follow Alex, but I couldn't because I could never hurt my family like that.
The defense then put 6 people on the stand, each of them testifying to Mark Taylor's character.
He's amazing. He's compassionate to a fault, where everyone deserves a chance to be known.
But during closing arguments, the prosecution said Taylor's family only knew his good side.
What kind of person, after killing their best friend over drugs, of all things, stuffs their body in a barrel?
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The jury recommended Taylor serve the 3 sentences consecutively, which would be a total of 49 years. He'll be formally sentenced on July 22nd. New tonight, an Indiana pastor has been arrested in Kentucky. Investigators say he drove to Franklin County to have sex with a minor. The Attorney General's office says 46-year-old David Brown was arrested in Frankfort this morning. Investigators say through an online messenger, he talked to an undercover investigator posing as a minor. They say Brown then asked the person for sex. Investigators say he drove to Frankfort thinking he would be having sex with a minor. But instead, they say police were waiting to arrest him. They say Brown told them he's the head pastor of First Christian Church of Jeffersonville, Indiana. Tonight, we're learning more about the sad ending to a search for a 2-year-old boy dragged into a Florida lagoon by an alligator. Police say they found the boy's body this afternoon. They say the boy was playing in shallow water near Disney's Grand Floridian Resort when he was attacked last night. The boy and his family were at the resort on vacation. Marley Hall has the latest.
After mounting a massive search by air and along the shore, authorities say the body of a toddler snatched by an alligator at a Disney resort has been found.
There's likely no question in my mind that the child was drowned by the alligator.
Investigators say the child, Lane Graves of Elkhorn, Nebraska, was with his parents and sibling playing in shallow lake water at the Grand Floridian last night when the alligator attacked. The boy's father tried desperately to fight off the alligator, but could not save him.
Of course, the family was distraught, but also, I believe, somewhat relieved that we were able to find their son with his body intact.
The sheriff said it was a tough message to deliver to the family. He was asked to pass on their thanks.
They do appreciate all of the prayers that have gone forward.
The search for the alligator will continue.
There's a good chance we already have the alligator. We're going to go through the process and forensics and make certain. And if we can't get a certain match, we're going to continue to go out and look for alligators.
No swimming signs were posted in the area of the attack. Many are questioning whether more needs to be done to prevent this from happening again. Marley Hall, CBS News, Lake Buena Vista, Florida.
Tonight, people who know the Graves family out of Nebraska say they're devastated by what happened to the boy named Lane.
As the day went on, to find out that he had been found, obviously some comfort in knowing that they were able to recover him and be able to bring him back to Nebraska.
In a statement, Disney said that the company is devastated and heartbroken by what happened, and they're doing what they can to help the family. Police say that 5 alligators were removed from the lagoon and euthanized during the search for the boy. Tonight, investigators in Orlando are taking a closer look at the wife of the gunman police say killed 49 people at a gay nightclub. They say the shooter, Omar Mateen, posted a warning on Facebook moments before the attack, talking about Islamic State vengeance. Investigators say his wife, Noor Salman, drove with him when he cased Pulse nightclub. And sources say there's surveillance video of her buying ammunition with her husband. Investigators say Salman told them she tried to talk her husband out of the attack. The Orlando attack has nightclubs here in Lexington taking a closer look at their security. Managers of 2 bars downtown say they plan to meet with Lexington police chiefs on Friday to go over police patrols along with safety and security. And tonight, people going to bars around the city told us they generally feel safe when they're out on the town. And Sunday's attack does not change that, but they're glad bars in Lexington are taking security seriously.
It's sad that we have to have that kind of security for when people go to have a good time. You know, usually when you think of a bar, you think of like maybe a few people get drunk and then go and fight or, you know, something like that. But you don't ever think about people being murdered at a massacre, and it's just really sad to hear about that.
Lexington police say they'll have an increased presence at the city's upcoming Pride Festival on June 25th. A man police say broke into a Lexington gas station was not on the run for long, but police say they've also connected him to a string of other crimes. That's in 9 minutes. And then what police in Pulaski County say led to a roundup this morning that ended with nearly 24 people being taken to jail.
The fight against drugs takes us somewhere unexpected.
People who want things will find ways to get things, and especially drug addicts.
WKYT is there as officers search for drugs in jails. Thursday at 6 on WKYT. Kentucky mornings start here. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT.
Crispy, crunchy, cheesy. Papa John's new pan pizza, loaded with cheese that bakes into a delicious crust. Get our new pan pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $10
at papajohns.com.
It's not too big and it's not too small.
Chevrolet's crossovers come in 3 sizes: Trax, Equinox, and Traverse.
Who wants to sit in it?
I do.
Shotgun.
Oh, wow.
This car matches me. I like this.
It's a perfect fit.
Get more than you expect for less than you imagined from the Chevrolet crossover family.
Qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 60 months on this 2016 Chevy Equinox. Plus, find your tag to get an extra $1,500 cash allowance on select Equinox in stock.
If you've been in an accident with a semi-truck, let our crash team get started today. Don't delay. Evidence disappears. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Every house has electricity. Shouldn't every house have an electrician?
What we do is not about sickness. It's about living. Because you are made to live and live well. Let us show you how care is supposed to be. Lexington Clinic, your doctors for life.
Guys, our number's way! Yeah, wait. We can finally stop playing these wedding gigs and start rocking out! Hey, guys! What's going on? Hey, Lenny, I hope you got that ticket in the same place, bro! Yeah!
Ticket? The only way you can win Kentucky's Powerball or Mega Millions jackpot is if you actually buy your ticket.
All right, let's get Tim and Don on the dance floor. Whatever. Go.
Crispy, crunchy, cheesy. Papa John's new pan pizza, loaded with cheese that bakes into a delicious crust. Get our new pan pizza with up to 3 toppings for just $10
at papajohns.com.
Have something that needs investigating? Email us or call the WKYT Investigates tip line. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Thunderstorms on the noisy side out there this afternoon into the evening, putting down a little wind damage into parts of central Kentucky. What's left of that action is slowly working out of Kentucky on your Defender radar network. Let's get after it. And you see that weakening trend the past 2 hours worth of radar, and those showers and storms southeastern corner of the state still with some gusty winds right on top of the Daniel Boone / Hal Rogers Parkway from Hazard into Hyden and Manchester and good old Clay County getting in on a couple of raindrops too. Owingsville, Frenchburg, Stanton into the northern part of Madison County getting in on a couple of drops. That's about all she wrote. It's a drying trend that is settling on into town as we go through the rest of the overnight. What does that mean for the day tomorrow? All right, we're going to steam it up. Tomorrow, for some of us, may end up being the hottest day we've had so far this summer. I see a lot of low 90s tomorrow afternoon before a shower or thunderstorm tries to crash the party. Isolated stuff into the afternoon, but it's very, very muggy. Over the next 3 days, let's break it down. After tomorrow, it gets better. Just hang in there. Temperatures in the low 90s. We've covered that. Late day storm threat. Friday, much cooler, less humid into the latter half of the day. Still a chance for a shower. Most areas, though, look to remain dry on Friday. Now we go into Saturday. It is a winter of a weather day. If you aren't making plans to do something outside on Saturday, go ahead and try to pencil something in just to get outdoors. Sunshine, low 80s coming up. You know what else is going to be going down? Not coming up. The humidity factor as we go into Friday, it's still humid, but on Saturday it's in the pleasant and comfortable category. So the tropical stuff of today and tomorrow soon to be replaced by a better brand of air. Hour-by-hour forecast. Noon tomorrow, already into the low and mid-80s. Anyone fair game for a shower thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. If you miss out on any thunderstorm, you'll hit the low 90s. You hang in with a shower or storm, you got to settle for upper 80s. Forecast on your Friday. Cloud cover and precipitation tries to come at us in reverse. Area of low pressure to our east is going to try to throw a shower at us from east to west. Now, anytime you get a flow that is coming at you from the east or northeast, it's just reversing the pattern. Look how much cooler we are Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, upper 70s to low 80s, depending on exactly where you are. Friday evening out on the town, we look to be in good shape. Saturday morning, some upper 50s will begin to show up. You want to see the definition of awesome? This is it on your hour by hour. 5 o'clock Saturday, low 80s. Most areas 80 to 85 degrees, blue skies, and low humidity levels. That is exactly what the weather doctor ordered. Tomorrow, not so much. Low 90s, but the cure comes into the weekend with low 80s Friday and Saturday. We'll bounce it back to 90 early next week. But, Sam, another cold front will likely cut that heat off at the pass as well with some showers and storms by Tuesday and Wednesday. All eyes on that weekend. Wow.
Yeah, looking good tomorrow, too.
Yeah, tomorrow looks okay. It'll be a little steamy, but, boy, better than tonight's storms.
You got it. Thank you, Chris. A bit of Hollywood has come to eastern Kentucky this week. We'll tell you about the movie that's generated some excitement there.
Get the credit approval you deserve at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Nicholasville. If you have a job and $199, you can be approved today. During the Drive and Discover event 2016, Jeep Cherokee's $199 a month. Visit BigMSuperstore.com.
So you wanted to attend Paddlefest, but you missed all the fun. Cheer up. Paddlefest is now a monthly event. Mark your calendars for the fourth Saturday of every month through October. The next Paddlefest is June 25th and begins in Prestonsburg at 8 a.m. Enjoy this 4 to 6 hour trip by kayak or canoe. Paddlefest ends in Paintsville, where food and drinks will be served. Rentals available and registration is only $10. Visit Paintsville or Prestonsburg Tourism for more information.
Ready for summertime thrills? Kentucky Kingdom, the Thrill Park, Hurricane Bay, the Water Park. 2 great parks at one low price. Save $10 at your local Kroger. Day tickets only $39.95.
Pick up boneless pork chops for $2.99 a pound. And blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries are 3 for $5. Fresh food, low prices at Kroger.
DQ funnel cake a la mode? Hold on. Coming through.
The next hours. Cloudy tomorrow.
Funnel cake has a new home. The DQ Bakes new funnel cake a la mode with the world-famous DQ soft serve and your favorite topping. This is fan food, not fast food.
Funnel cake a la mode.
Want to pay less for the #1 selling sedan? Honda's got it with the redesigned 2016 Accord. Accords cost less than the competition and come fully loaded for $189 a month. Looking for hot technology? Honda's got it with available Honda Lane Watch, forward collision warning, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and more. Want Accords for just $189 a month or drive with 0 down payment? Honda's got it this week at your Central Kentucky Honda dealers.
All summer long, your road to refreshment leads to Speedway. And now that Speedway's grown throughout the Midwest, Northeast, and Southeast, nobody has a handle on your summer fun better than Speedway. From the sunny shores of Florida to New York City, from the Carolinas to the New England coast, your road to refreshment leads to Speedway. And with your Speedway app, there's always a Speedway nearby and a chance to win prizes with every visit on your trip.
We're on your way to convenience stores of Speedway.
Now, a 32-ounce Speedy Freezer fountain drink's just 89 cents.
Save thousands at the all-new Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Nicholasville, where you get 25% off MSRP on all the remaining new 2015s in stock. That's up to $14,000 off MSRP. Make the short drive to Big M Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram today.
The Lexington police have arrested a man they say is connected to at least 7 burglaries around the city. Police say they caught 50-year-old Victor Littleton early this morning after a burglary at a Speedway gas station on Tates Creek Road. In the last month, police say Littleton also broke into Ferguson Enterprises, Miss Holly's Barber Shop, the Tennis Store of Lexington, and Big B Liquors. The last 2 businesses were broken into twice. One victim said the arrest was welcome news.
Really relieved. It was nice to know that we got one more off the street, I guess, you know. And just to know that the police department is doing their job, you know. They do a fantastic job protecting us.
Police think Littleton may also be connected to other burglaries in Lexington, Georgetown, Nicholasville, and Versailles. We have some new information tonight about a Florida double murder suspect arrested in Kentucky. Prosecutors in Florida now say they plan to seek the death penalty against Michael Harold. They say in April he killed John and Nancy Englehart at the couple's home near Tampa. Harold worked for the company, but he's originally from Perry County. Kentucky State Police say that's where they arrested him a few days after the murders. New tonight, an Indiana man arrested on weapons and ammunition charges before a gay pride event in California now faces some new charges. Prosecutors in Clark County, Indiana, near Louisville, charged 20-year-old James Howell with child molestation today. Investigators say last month Howell took a 12-year-old girl to a forest and had sex with her. Police in California say Howell had an assault weapon and explosives and told them he was heading to a gay pride event when they arrested him on Sunday. More than 20 suspected drug dealers were taken off the streets today during a roundup in Pulaski County. The sheriff says the arrests are the result of an undercover drug buy over the last 3 months. Investigators say the suspects dealt oxycodone, heroin, and meth. Some of the suspects have been arrested before. Police say none of them put up a fight when they were arrested.
There's always a possibility that during the service of those warrants that you could encounter anything. You don't know, because these folks often are under the influence of the drugs themselves.
Police say all the suspects were taken to jail on a $25,000 cash or property bond. We have a full list of all those arrested on our website, WKYT.com. Some excitement in Harlan County this week as filming of a movie continues there. The movie, called Above Suspicion, has also filmed in Lexington recently. It tells the story of an FBI agent convicted of strangling his informant in Pike County. Some storefronts in Harlan were changed to make them look like Pikeville in the late 1980s and early 90s, and business owners say the filming has brought a lot of excitement.
You know, we've had so many financial hardships, and it's good to see production and just to have some movement through our town again.
The film crew was scheduled to wrap up their work in Harlan today before moving on to some other filming locations. Kenneth Fareed and others in action tonight, Brian.
Yeah, Lakeside Christian Academy in Rowan County helping raise money for a pretty good cause. And what about Alex Poythress? Will he get drafted? You'll hear from him next in sports.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 104.5 The Cat.
Right after the injury, the next day, I remember seeing Becker Law on television, and I decided to make that call. You know, the number of the all threes.
Call the Becker Law Office. Just dial 3s.
All right, come on, everybody. It's time to go.
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings.
With low prices and weekly deals, saving is so easy at Kroger. Come in and cross more off your list for less. Just look for the tags and save. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
My hospital bills were over $300,000. As soon as I got the first bill, I contacted Becker and I was like, is there anything that you guys can do with it? And they was like, we'll handle it. It's a relief.
Call the Becker Law Office. Just dial 3s.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $310 million.
All right, guys, we brought you to this construction trailer to talk about trucks today. Which truck brand offers engines with best-in-class V8 towing or fuel economy?
We moving? We're going. It's the answer to the question, baby. Silverado. Ooh, that's cool.
It's Truck Month. Qualified buyers get 0% financing for 60 months. Plus, find your tank and get $8,250 total value on this Silverado All-Star. See your Kentucky Select Chevy dealers.
All right, come on, everybody. It's time to go.
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings.
With low prices and weekly deals, saving is so easy at Kroger. Come in and cross more off your list for less. Just look for the tags and save. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
I feel like it's important to connect with the customers because you never know what somebody might be going through. I want to make sure that I'm giving them the experience that they deserve. I'm a pharmacy technician. You have a lot of responsibility because people's health is on the line. It's just being accurate, it's being focused. It's a good pressure. Kroger has always put people first. Just whoever walks through those doors, we just try to do whatever we can to put them first and make them feel special. Treating everybody with the same, genuine care that I would want somebody to treat me with. I'm Deontay and I work at the Frankfurt East Kroger.
The event that rocked Kentucky is back at Toyota on Nicholasville. It's the Kentucky Car Fair, going on right now at Toyota on Nicholasville. This is our biggest car fair ever. Take $6,000 off new Toyotas. Buy with 0 down, or make no payments for 90 days, or get 0% financing up to 72 months during the Kentucky Car Fair at
Toyota on Nicholasville.
The big Toyota store.
Where price sells cars.
ToyotaOnNicholasville.com.
As the NBA draft continues to creep closer, we know Jamal Murray will be a lottery pick. Scal, a first-rounder. Tyler Ulis will hear his name called. What about Alex Poitras? Alex has been working out for several teams, most recently the Pacers. Poitras has all the tools to be a serious player, and at Kentucky, he showed flashes, and he thinks he's being overlooked a little.
I'm a way different player than what I was coming from high school. I matured a lot more and just got better all around.
Do you think you're kind of being overlooked a little bit because you did stay 4 years?
A little bit, but I can't control none of that. I control how people see me. I just come in prepared to work each and every day. I've been through a lot of adversity. A lot of this stuff doesn't fade me no more, so I just got to come in and work hard.
Tyler Ulis today tweeting he was in Chicago working out for the Bulls. There were reports Tuesday Ulis has a hip injury that may require surgery and obviously would not help his draft stock. Ulis played his high school ball in Chicago. The Bulls pick 14th next Thursday. That is the last final pick in the lottery. Among John Calipari's incoming freshman class, a man of mystery from last year, Ty Wynyard. Wynyard admitted today he turned down John Calipari when he tried to put him in a game last year so he could keep his eligibility, save that year of eligibility. 2 straight years now, Wynyard has represented New Zealand in a 3-on-3 international tournament. However, nothing for Wynyard has compared to joining UK last year.
It's just a huge step up from any other basketball I've ever played in my life. I've played on my national team and all that type of stuff, but it's just a huge step up coming to Kentucky. It's just a lot different. He was like, "Oh, you don't want to play?" And I was like, no, it's not that. I want my eligibility. And I was like, I couldn't really explain it because it was like halftime straight after, and I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I say? It was kind of a tough question to answer, yeah.
Kenneth Fareed back in Moorhead today in part to raise funds for his Manimal Foundation for underprivileged children. Part of his visit today included a stop at the hospital where he spoke to the kids.
Talking to kids, kids just genuinely, just not in a bad way, just don't know no better. They're just genuinely happy, and they just genuinely don't care about basketball. They're just happy to see somebody care about them, and sometimes they do care about basketball, and they're happy to see one of their heroes. So you never know, and it's just always exciting to see a kid's face when you walk in the room. And me being 6'8", they always look up and say, "Wow, you're tall," and they're just always amazed by that.
Fareed and Team Manimal taking on the Maysville All-Stars, raising funds for the Manimal Foundation for the underprivileged. Fareed off the alley-oop from DeMonte Harper, and then Brandon Shingles, the nifty baseline dish to K-Time, who throws it down. Fareed for one more slam, but in the end, too much Maysville. Former MSU Eagle Brian Miller, the proud father of Darius Miller, from Steph Curry range from 35 feet. Maysville All-Stars hang on 127-124. Last night, Lexington Legends catcher Chase Vallow took a fastball to the face. He wasn't catching, he was batting. And if you're squeamish, you might not want to watch this. In the 4th inning against the West Virginia Power, Vallow takes a 93-mile-per-hour fastball right on the face. Vallow takes it straight, and he could not get out of the way. Vallow needed assistance to leave the field. He is on the South Atlantic League All-Star team. That game to be played at Whitaker Bank Ballpark next Tuesday. Hopefully we can see him out there. Boy, that was scary. Former Tates Creek star, 2014 Mr. Baseball, and Louisville shortstop Devin Hairston, one of 3 finalists for the Brooks Wallace Shortstop of the Year Award. That's presented by the College Baseball Hall of Fame. The award honors the top shortstop in all the land. Hairston hitting .361, 3 homers, 45 RBI, 16 doubles, and 56 runs scored for the Cardinals this past year. He was a 3rd-team All-ACC shortstop, and he'll compete this summer with the USA Baseball Collegiate National Team. Way to go, Dev. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Due to the recent torrential hailstorm, many vehicles have been damaged, and we are forced to deeply discount them at Glenn Ford, Glenn Mitsubishi, and Glenn Hyundai of Nicholasville. Small scratches, dings, and dents have forced us to sell these vehicles below market value. It's the hail damage sale at the Glenn dealerships in Nicholasville.
If you have questions about your on-the-job injury, visit forthepeople.com for more information. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
You're a problem solver. Oh yeah, you love solutions. You tackle what matters and sack the rest. It's how you stay in your mom game. I get it. And it's how you fuel hungry kids. Stock the fridge with Lando Frost premium lunch meat. Taste keeps them happy, protein keeps them full. That is a win-win. And a win-win is Mommy Gold. Lando Frost, solving family lunch problems since 1958.
People really do live life in their Toyotas. Live well in the stylishly affordable Corolla S with Entune audio, Bluetooth, and backup camera, all standard. Now, during Toyota's summer sales event, get 0% financing for 72 months or lease Corolla for $159 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Looking for the best boat your money can buy? Check out Tracker, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Tahoe boats. Backed by the best factory warranties in the business. And Tracker is holding the line on pricing. Most 2016 boats are at or below last year's prices. Like the 2016 Tracker Pro Team 190TX for $1,100 below the 2014 price. 2016 boats at 2015 prices. At the Bass Pro Shops Tracker Boating Center in Corbin.
Green's Toyota has amazing deals on the new 2016 RAV4. Choose from $500 in customer cash or 0% APR up to 60 months. Or lease a new 2016 RAV4 LE front-wheel drive for only $199 per month for 36 months.
Bluegrass RV in Lexington is Kentucky's largest dealership for the #1 selling travel trailer in the country. The Bullet Ultralight. Sleek, smooth, and packed with features. Explore the open road in a Bullet. With payments as low as $149 a month, surround your family in comfort, convenience, and style in a Bullet Premier, the industry's first luxury lightweight. You'll find the best prices on a great selection at Bluegrass RV. Family memories begin at Bluegrass RV.
Taller grass has fewer weeds and needs less water. Mow better, Lexington.
Due to the recent torrential hailstorm, many vehicles have been damaged, and we are forced to deeply discount them at Glenn Ford, Glenn Mitsubishi, and Glenn Hyundai of Nicholasville. Small scratches, dings, and dents have forced us to sell these vehicles below market value. It's the hail damage sale at the Glenn dealerships in Nicholasville.
All right, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, less than a minute away here on WKYT. And tonight's guests include Liam Hemsworth. We got through the storms.
Yeah, we did. And tomorrow we're going to steam it up a little bit. Sam's favorite emoji is back tomorrow afternoon. He is He's got steam coming out of his nose there, Sam. That's what that is, with temperatures hitting the low 90s. The emojis say hang in there. Your weekend looks a lot better. Mid-80s for highs. Plenty of sunshine right now.
Brian, you play a lot of baseball. Have you ever had a ball hit you in the face like that?
No, never got hit in the face, thank goodness. But my man Rodney Wills in Richmond, he thumped me once on the thigh. I was bruised for a month. Way to go, Hot Rod, little boy.
Yeah.
That was it.
A thigh.
Yeah.
Got to save that face for broadcast for the air. All right. We'll see you tomorrow on that note. Have a good day and a good night.